experience. This is for entertainment purposes only, but I am going to plug my Instagram. Please subscribe here because I will be documenting my next cycle in video format similar to this first cycle. But if you need to message me, get a hold of me, and want to see what I currently look like, please follow me on Instagram at RussoLifts. What's up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. So making a controversial video today, and that is on site enhancement oil, also abbreviated as SEO. If you're reading the forums or any type of, text format, it'll probably be referred to as SEO or Synthol. So Synthol is kind of the universal term, even though there are multiple SEOs on the market. I'm going to put Synthol in the title, but really I used a hyaluronic acid formula by EA, and it's called Formafil, and I utilized this during my transformation in the 1 week transformation for Generation Iron, the crazy cycle that I posted all the raw footage for. Again, that documentary will come out around January, but I kind of wanted to give my opinion on SEO and my thoughts, my experiences with it. So first off, I wanted to see if anyone noticed the SEO, and right off the bat people were commenting on the raw footage if I used SEO, and some people were mad about me using SEO and other people were like, did you use it? So I wanted to see if it was noticeable. In my opinion, in my eyes, I could pick it out personally watching the footage, but I definitely wanted to see, if my viewers could point it out. And yeah, a lot of you guys noticed it right off the bat. So SEO, site enhancement oil, is used in bodybuilding only. So bodybuilding is a pageant-based contest, meaning that, it's not about performance, it's about how you look, and there's certain areas that some people just cannot grow. Personally, my rear delts, I do rear delts every other day for the past 3 years straight, and I really haven't gotten much growth out of them. And I told Trevor and Tony, like, hey, I do face pulls, I do bend over seal rows where I'm activating my rear delts. I do all this rear delt work. I don't notice much. How do people on stage have these crazy rear delts? To which Trevor and Tony were basically saying that, they put SEO in their rear delts. About 90%, of people on stage that you see have crazy rear delts probably have used or utilized SEO in their rear delts. So they asked if I wanted to give SEO a shot. Now I was apprehensive because a lot of people are against SEO because it's fake muscle, meaning that it's just oil, it's not really muscle at all. But then that brings up the argument that SEO can be used to stretch the muscle fascia, which the muscle fascia is kind of like the sleeve that the muscle sits under, and if the muscle fascia is stretched, bro science theory in general, if it's stretched, it makes it easier for, the hyperplasia effect of GH and roids to come in and actually fill that in with actual muscle eventually. So Synthol much more just sits there, doesn't do much. Hyaluronic acid more lubricates the joints and doesn't sit in the body nearly as long as traditional Synthol cooking oil. So I wanted to specify that, I'm not one of these Synthol guys that just shoots 10, 20, 30 cc's of cooking oil into his biceps to think he's going to pick up the ladies. I was really utilizing it in the parts of the muscle that I just cannot develop and grow, and wanted to inflame and inflate, which was my upper chest. We utilized some, as well as my rear delts. My front delts, side delts, completely real. All those pictures on Instagram, those are my actual delts. I never put any oil in there. Sure, I used regular gear in my delts, which has the same effect as SEO, meaning you're putting it in to stretch the fascia to get local growth factors of putting the gear there. That's bro science theory, but I personally believe that if you put gear in the bicep or in the tricep or in the shoulder, you're going to have some localized effect. I've seen it from my personal experience as well as reading many people's logs. So yeah, the hyaluronic acid's the same deal. So what did I notice with the hyaluronic acid? So they put it in my rear delts. Next day, rear delts were completely inflamed, swelled. Second day, rear delts were painfully inflamed, swelled to a point where if I was trying to sleep on my side, the hyaluronic acid had collected so much water and was swelled up so bad that I could not sleep on my sides. And then it started to dissipate after that. During the time of the swelling, I was training my rear delts hard as hell during the transformation because that's causing the most inflammation, damage, and will rebuild the most amount of tissue. My chest, however, I didn't really notice any pain or any swelling at all. It just kind of filled out my upper chest shelf. Now, the issue with site enhancement oil is that if you inject it incorrectly, it just ruins everything. It ruins the muscle look, ruins the muscle shape, and it looks so bad and so fake. I'm sure everyone at their gym has seen the Synthol guy or the site enhancement guy who has no idea how to utilize site enhancement oil or has mad muscle dysmorphia or body image disorder and thinks the more site enhancement oil he shoves in his shoulders or shoves in, his biceps to make him look better, but it looks so bad. That's what I was not going for. That's why I only utilized a little bit just to see if it worked. And personally, it filled out my rear delts great. I think my delt in general, from the side chest position when I'm all pumped up, it looks a lot better. And it doesn't really look that fake anymore. When I first utilized it and it was inflamed like crazy, obviously you could tell that something was up there. But over the time it's dissipated, again, I'm going to be vlogging, what results I kept and everything. You'll be able to judge for yourself if you can pick out the site enhancement oil or not. But I never wanted to lie to my audience. I wanted to talk about it for sure. But I wanted to collect my thoughts and see what I thought over time as the site enhancement oil dissipated. This will dissipate over the course of around 6-ish months, and then it will be completely gone. Now that's obvious, you can keep up on it and keep utilizing it. But I just wanted to dabble with it and kind of see what my thoughts were. The overall argument for site enhancement oil is that there's people who fucking hate it, and then there's people who are more enlightened and realize that a lot of these pro physiques, these pro bodybuilders, are strategically using site enhancement oil to expand the fascia, to create more permanent muscle long term with hyperplasia caused by GH and roids down the line. And if it's used, injected properly, injected deep enough, it's impossible to tell if it's real or fake muscle unless they tell you. I use the most famous example of Flex Wheeler. Flex Wheeler, Google his name if you don't know him, very famous bodybuilder, had arguably one of the greatest arm sets, pair of arms of all time. His arms were insane. And throughout his entire career, I don't really know if he touched on it, but towards the later end of his career, he completely, came with the truth of saying that his arms were created a lot by site enhancement oil, and, he owes a lot of his insane arms to site enhancement oil. So it's more along the lines of my opinion, if you can spot it's fake, then it should not be rewarded. If you cannot really tell if it's fake or not, then how are you going to know it should be rewarded? And that's the game of bodybuilding. There's no rules in bodybuilding. You get to see the most extreme results, no filter, anything goes. And I don't really think you should be against site enhancement oil unless it's executed poorly, unless it's completely fake, blurring the muscle. The muscle looks like garbage from it, and it just looks fake. If it doesn't look fake, if it looks professional, and the only way you would know is if someone straight up told you they're using a ton of site enhancement, you know, gear muscle's fake too, in my opinion. You really can't maintain the super physiological amount of muscle mass without constantly blasting gear. So it falls under the same category as me. Honestly, it might be healthier because you don't have to completely blast a fuck ton of gear. You can maintain the inflamed muscle and crazy full look with the SEO. So that's my immediate thoughts on site enhancement oil. Again, did not use Synthol. I'm going to put Synthol in the title, but this is Formafill by Enhanced RX. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It was very painful. I remember doing lateral raises and, you know, just utilizing 20 to 25 pound dumbbells. Felt like I was lateral raising 30 to 40 pound dumbbells. That was about the pain I was getting. I pretty much could not lift heavy. So if you're wondering why a giant massive bodybuilder in your gym is like curling like the 10s to the 20s and he's screaming and it's awkwardly painful and you're like, this massive dude is struggling with that, most likely because he injected a whole bunch of gear in his biceps, or he's utilizing site enhancement oil, which is inflaming his biceps, and that's all the stimulation he needs to create the inflammation going on in his muscles for growth. So that was my experience with site enhancement oil. Do I recommend it? No. Did I want to play around with it because I'm all about exploring the dark side of bodybuilding? Absolutely. So I hope that gives you some insight and a quick, you know, rundown of what SEO is used for in bodybuilding. And feel free to comment down below your stance on site enhancement oil. Do I plan to continue to use this? No. I might utilize this in a contest prep situation on my rear delts or upper chest. Otherwise, I think I have plenty of time to develop the rest of my physique enhanced over time and have it all be real thick muscle. And that's what I'm going for. But there are certain areas that just do not stimulate, and that is my rear delts for sure, and calves for some people as well. But my calves are luckily pretty genetically gifted there. So hope everyone is doing well. Happy Friday, and I'm going to be uploading a lot more now that all my raw footage is up, and I am no longer utilizing MK677 and can talk at a fast enough speed. So I appreciate everyone checking in. Please share this channel to your friends and subscribe, tap the bell, and I will see you guys in my next video.